This is Algebra 2, Chapter 10, Section 6, in which we will be studying the binomial theorem. Okay. The idea for the binomial theorem is it helps us expand a binomial to a large power. And by expand, we're talking about distribute it out. Say they gave me a plus b to the 10th. Well, I really don't want to have to distribute a plus b times a plus b times a plus b times a plus b 10 times. Okay, I could do that, but it's a lot of heavy lifting. The binomial theorem gives us a quicker way to get to what that expansion looks like. Okay. Now, you'll probably recognize this symbol, NC0, NC1, NC whatever. Okay. Those, if you remember back in Chapter 0, we talked about combinations. And that's what this is about. Remember, there's a button on your calculator that gets the job done. Just have to, if you don't remember where it is, just ask, and I'll show you where it is. It varies from calculator to calculator, like we talked about back in Chapter 0, so I'll have to show you on your particular calculator where it's hiding. But it's on there somewhere. And if not, you can use one of mine that has it. So they want us to expand x plus y to the 8th power. Okay. I purposely didn't cover this up for you so that you wouldn't have to write all of this part down. It's there for you. But I want you to notice a few things. Since this is the 8th power, each one of the combinations starts with an 8. Okay. We're going to start with the 0 one, then it goes to 1, then it goes to 2, 3, on up the line. Okay. Notice that the second power, in this case on the y, matches the number that's in your combination. And then the first one is what's left over. I'm trying to make a total of 8. I use 0 here, that leaves 8. I used 1 in the next problem, so that leaves 7. Over here I used 2, that leaves 6. These powers always add up to my n. Okay. Now it's just a matter of going to the calculator. And my trusty calculator tells me 8c0 is 1, times x to the 8th, times y to the 0 is 1. So I'm not going to put the y to the 0 there. 8c1 is 8, x to the 7th, y to the 1. 8c2 is 28, x to the 6th, y to the 2. And so forth and so on and so forth. Okay. Notice that these coefficient values repeat. We go 1, 8, 28, 56, 70, 56, okay, comes back, 28 comes back, 8, and then 1. Okay, it goes upward, and then it falls back off, and it repeats. The combination portion of this will do that every time. Once you get to a repeated value, it'll go backward down to the end. Now, the trick that people run into all the time that throws them off is when your problem isn't just x plus y, or a plus b, or m plus n, or whatever. Okay, when there's more values going on, 3x minus 2y, okay, whenever anything like that starts going on, people make a lot of mistakes here, so you have to really pay attention to what you're doing. Okay. Again, I did not cover up the setup, but I want you to notice 5th power, so it's 5c0, 5c1, 5c2, and so forth up the line. 0 here puts a 0 on the back power, and then what's left to make 5 is 5. 1 here puts a 1 on the back power. 5 minus 1 leaves 4. 2 here, 2 on the back power. 5 minus 2 leaves 3 for the front, and so forth. Okay. Now I'm going to go to the calculator, and I'm going to be very careful and take this in a couple of steps. Okay. 5c0 gives me 1. 3 to the 5th gives me 243. X to the 5th. Negative 2y to the 0 is just 1. Okay. I'm showing an extra step here just to make sure you understand what's going on. 5c1 is 5. 3 to the 4th is 81. Negative 2 to the 1st is negative 2. Okay. And then y to the 1st and x to the 4th. 5c2 is 10 according to my calculator. 3 to the 3rd is 27. Now here's one of those danger points that I was talking about where people make mistakes. Negative 2 squared is positive 4. If you punch that in your calculator, some of you will get the answer negative 4. If you worked this out and got negative 4, check it on your calculator here. If you got negative 4, you need to put parentheses around the negative 2. So you'll type it into your calculator like this. Whatever button you use for a caret, for a power. Might be the X to the Y button, it might just be the square button, whatever. Okay, but you're going to need to put parentheses there around your negatives. So be careful of that. Okay. 5c3 is also 10. 3 squared is 9. Negative 2 cubed is negative 8. Again, if you figured out you needed parentheses here, you're going to need them everywhere. Everywhere around negatives. Now notice 10 repeated. So that tells me I've hit the repeating point. Now I can work backward. 10 and 10, 5 and 5, 1 and 1. Okay. Now I'm ready to do the final step, which is to clean the arithmetic up. 1 times 1 times 243. 5 times 81 times negative 2. Okay. 10 times 27 times 4. 10 times 9 times negative 8. 5, 3, 16. 1, 1, and negative 32. Okay. Notice now the numbers don't repeat because of all this other stuff going on here, from the 3 to the 5th and from the 3 to the 4th and the negative 2 and all that. That throws off the repeating part. But in this step, the repeating was in play because we were writing out what we were doing. The combination part is what repeats. Okay. Now, sometimes they're going to ask us just to find a specific term. All right. They gave me the problem 2x plus y to the 10th power. And they want me to find just a specific term, just the 5th term. Okay. I don't have to work full all the way through the problem to get this. All I need is that one term. Now I'm going to jump back here for a second and have you notice something. The third term is 5c2 in this case. The second term is 5c1. The first term is 5c0. So if I want the 5th term, I'm going to want to do, in this case, 10, because it's the 10th power, c4. Okay, if they ask me the 8th term, it would be a 7 here. Now, remember how the pattern works. This number tells you the back power, and then 10, in this case, 10 minus that gives you the front power. These two powers have to add up to 10. And this, again, because it's the 10th power here. Well, now it's just calculator time. 10c4, my calculator says is 210. 2 to the 6th is 64. X to the 6th, y to the 4th, and then just multiply it together, 13,440. x to the 6th, y to the 4th. Okay. We could have gotten that just by expanding everything out and distribute, get tired of distributing, keep going, collect it together, and hope you did all the arithmetic right. Or you can get it using the binomial theorem, which cuts out a lot of work. If you had any questions along the way, hopefully you wrote those down. Bring them in with you, and we will see you in class.